material wealth over spiritual quests. The relentless chase for affluence, the enticing allure of amassing wealth, consumed her undivided attention throughout this pivotal juncture in her life. At the age of 33, she found herself entrenched as a correctional officer within the confines of a high-security prison, housing the most severe offenders, many serving sentences spanning a quarter-century or more. Within these prison walls resonated distinct spiritual energies, yet her focus remained steadfastly fixed on the realm of monetary pursuits. Enduring grueling shifts, some stretching to a draining 14 hours, frequently relegated to the night. The ceaseless demands of her schedule afforded minimal respite, plaguing her sleep with haunting memories of the prison's grim vistas, shrouded by malevolent energies that hindered restorative repose. Apart from her role as a correctional officer, she upheld a martial arts enterprise. Her scarce days off, typically confined to Tuesdays and Wednesdays, served as her only reprieve from potential overtime demands. She vividly recalls one bright Tuesday morning when an uncharacteristic sense of alertness and excitement infused her being. A remarkable day lay ahead, promising quality time with her offspring. An invaluable departure from the dreary prospects of extended work, she embarked on her homeward journey in her van, her uniform still adorning her frame, traversing Route 3, a direct hour-long drive encircled by cornfields, governed by a 70 miles per hour speed limit, a boundary she was acutely mindful of, especially donning her official attire. Suddenly, chaos erupted in a fleeting moment. Whether due to momentary drowsiness or an inadvertent slip into slumber, her wheels and brakes inexplicably seized, propelling her van into a harrowing hydroplaning and spin. Frantically, she sought to regain control, but her speed escalated from 70 to 75, 80, and eventually 85 miles per hour, plunging her into a bewildering state of confusion. As she surveyed the road, a distressing sight met her gaze. An approaching vehicle in the opposite lane, occupied by a woman and her 2 young children. In that precarious moment, she resolved that regardless of the circumstances causing this chaos, she could not jeopardize their lives alongside her own. Thus, she summoned all her strength and steered the wheel to the right with unwavering determination. Her trajectory led to a concrete barrier, her speed reaching 85 miles per hour. Astonishingly, time seemed to decelerate as the collision drew near. Clutching the wheel tightly, she felt an inexplicable smile, devoid of any trace of fear. Then came a thunderous crash, unlike any she had experienced before. Airbags deployed gradually, unfurling like billowing sheets. The encounter left her profoundly disoriented. As she awoke, her vision blurred into an unfamiliar sight, an inverted posture within her van's crumpled metal. It felt akin to being a compressed soda can caught in a weighty grip. The other vehicle transformed into a pressing force, reminiscent of swords or a fork, imposing an unyielding burden upon her. Slowly stirring from sleep, she found herself enveloped in an extraordinary sensation, one that defied explanation. All her senses had inexplicably dissipated. No sound, no pain, no scent, no tactile perception. A profound silence blanketed her existence, as if the world had been drained of its usual clamour. Thoughts ceased to encumber her mind, leaving no space for queries or uncertainties. In that suspended reality, she existed in a state of serene detachment, shielded, joyful, and strangely at peace. Although her surroundings came into view, she remained cocooned within the wreckage of the car. The impact had targeted the driver's seat, where she had been positioned, foretelling a grim outcome, yet she defied those ominous expectations. An incessant, inexplicable tickling sensation pervaded her being, leaving her entirely carefree, inhabiting a realm of pure, unconditional existence, untouched by troubles, negativity, questions, or doubts. Gradually, an awareness crystallized within her. She needed liberation from this predicament, even if it meant departing this earthly realm. Astonishingly, this prospect was met with an exquisite feeling. Her gaze wandered beyond the confines of her vehicle, where she spotted a woman in constant motion. The lady, apparently in her mid-60s, wore attire reminiscent of a bygone era, echoing the styles of the 1800s. A distinct burn scar adorned her right cheek, adding to her enigmatic presence, amplified by the headscarf she wore. Words failed her in this upside-down world as silence cocooned her. Desperate for aid, she gestured, yet the lady in black merely shook her head, relying solely on nonverbal cues. In another setting, she might have felt frustration and confusion. But in this extraordinary state, she embraced the lady's silent refusals, sensing a deeper narrative. Observing the lady's gestures, she comprehended the necessity to forge her path out of this situation. The lady, an enigmatic guide, appeared as if sent to unravel her unique predicament. Stranded in an upside-down ordeal, she harbored immense gratitude toward the lady. They communicated on a profound, unspoken level, transcending the confines of language. In this surreal cocoon, time seemed to halt, offering a profound sense of clarity. Encountering the lady in black marked a pivotal juncture, endowing her with a deeper connection to existence. It unveiled a reality surpassing human comprehension, altering her life and amplifying her appreciation for life's exquisite beauty. With closed eyes, the world abruptly shifted. She re-entered the chaos, realizing the urgent need to halt the still-running engine. Pressure on her injured knee stoked panic as she surveyed her surroundings. Outside the vehicle, a throng of people, fire trucks, and ambulances had congregated, leaving her dazed. Despite her assurances of being unharmed, a paramedic's stern warning reverberated against moving. An IV swiftly entered through the window, addressing her injuries. Amidst an unprecedented IV procedure, she pleaded for release from the confines of the car, yet the paramedics, steadfast, insisted on employing the formidable jaws of life to extricate her. While the rescue operation ensued, she chose to shut her eyes, delving into a state of meditation amidst the pandemonium that engulfed her. Firefighters meticulously dismantled her vehicle, while bystanders, gripped by a tumultuous frenzy, bore witness to her surreal composure in the face of chaos. Upon her extraction from the wreckage, her uniform was swiftly incised, and a morphine injection was administered without her explicit consent. Subsequently, she was securely fastened to a stretcher, where a grim prognosis awaited her, an anticipated multitude of fractures, internal hemorrhaging, and even potential cerebral impairment resulting from the grave vehicular collision. En route to the hospital, ensconced within an ambulance equipped for intensive care, she summoned the courage to query a sheriff about the legality of ignoring someone in distress. The sheriff maintained that only responders and those summoned by individuals from a nearby correctional facility were present at the scene, dispelling any notion of further witnesses. At the medical facility, physicians were confounded to discern an absence of injuries or contusions despite the severe wreckage sustained by her car. Astonishingly, she resumed work the following day and embarked upon a visit to the junkyard where her mangled vehicle had been relegated, leaving onlookers astounded by her inexplicable escape. Post these unforeseen events, she embarked on a succession of spiritual encounters and ethereal visions. Notably, she had previously been a skeptic, often ridiculing spiritual tenets. These encounters precipitated a transformation in her life, instigating a ripple effect that reverberated across her relationships, employment, and social bonds. Initially perceived as daunting hurdles, these profound metamorphoses eventually unfurled into serendipitous blessings in her life. Her odyssey of the soul, punctuated by trials, spanned months and years, engendering the discovery of latent psychic abilities and the reception of enigmatic numerical messages. Though arduous, this transformative journey was embraced with open arms. Her veritable spiritual awakening, an aftermath of a pivotal life-altering event, mirrored a rebirth, a metamorphosis fraught with agony and profound emotions akin to the liberation from an embryonic shell. This gradual transmutation spanned 7 years before reuniting with her twin flame, an integral facet of her spiritual expedition. The objective lay in achieving equilibrium, with her soul charting the course of her decisions rather than annihilating the ego. Since then, she perpetually gleaned daily epiphanies and wisdom as she extended a helping hand to individuals spanning the globe. Frequently, inquiries arose concerning the necessity of a near-death experience, NDE, for a spiritual awakening, a query to which she emphatically responded with a resounding negation. Spiritual awakenings, she contended, could manifest in the blink of an eye, spurred by a smile, the advent of progeny, the embrace of love, or a profound communion with one's inner self. This revised text seeks to integrate varying sentence lengths and complexities to mimic the original style while respecting the parameters of maintaining a comparable sentence and paragraph. Hey everyone! So imagine this. A wild medical emergency kicks off this crazy journey. How? Well, it all starts with a sneaky spider bite, mysterious, and all that jazz. This bite sets off a chain of events that's like cracking open a puzzle box, intriguing and puzzling in its own right. Picture this. You're on the edge of life itself, hanging on by a thread, and suddenly you're thrust into uncharted territory. It's like being on a roller coaster of existence. Next thing you know, there's this mad dash to the hospital. But get this, there's a gamble, a risky move that could save the day. It's all about a surgical option that's the key to staying in the game. And guess what? Sedation becomes the ticket to this crazy ride. An odyssey that blurs the line between the real world and some otherworldly place. It's like floating between the here and now and something out of a dream. Wild, right? In a vivid, expansive tableau, imagine a vast soul convergence rather than water. As a kaleidoscope, humans blended with those who had crossed the boundary. Their purposeful movements created a complex tapestry of existence. Curiosity guided me through this cosmic gathering. Amidst the crowd, my wandering gaze found solace in a singular soul, a woman whose face bore the wisdom of countless years. Our eyes met, and we exchanged silent smiles, a communion without words but full of meaning. This world has layers, each like a domain. Some layers vibrated with purpose, a symphony of intent echoing through the aether, while others radiated tranquilly in the vast expanse. Hidden behind these were enigmas, puzzles with missing pieces waiting to be solved. A universal understanding flowed effortlessly across boundaries in this infinite space. Peace shone within and beyond, an enchanting symphony amid life's dissonance. Once overwhelming pain and sorrow played a transient, almost insignificant role in this grand panorama, where every piece fell into place, albeit faintly glimpsed by our earthly senses. After lingering in this ethereal domain, a choice emerged, returning to Earth driven by an insatiable desire to understand the events. While outside my body, I mostly checked on my family in the waiting room at the hospital. Engaging with them felt like a soul-to-soul conversation. The idea that part of my family could sense and understand me gave me hope for reconnection with deceased loved ones and past family members. From this profound experience emerged a resounding realization that life endures beyond the threshold of passing away. Our departed loved ones exist in some form, not necessarily communicating or haunting, but undeniably present. A vivid memory emerged, an interaction between my ex and my aunt. Later, discussing my aunt's use of scripture to influence, I referenced advising her on Bible study. My ex, taken aback, insisted on the impossibility of my knowledge as it transpired during my surgery. A pivotal moment unfolded vividly as I recanted minute details of the waiting room, chairs, TV, lighting, details otherwise inaccessible. My ex was convinced I had transcended my physical form, as those particulars were beyond ordinary reach. Another piece of evidence surfaced pertaining to my aunt. Post-surgery, in that ephemeral state, a desire to linger surfaced. The allure of that realm, free from suffering, tugged at my being. Yet, a subtle sense nudged me toward a return, a voice or profound understanding that whispered the wisdom of departing. A choice lingered, but deep within, the decision to return prevailed as the path of wisdom. Despite a lack of enthusiasm for the prospect of returning, I acknowledged its inevitability. Upon my return, I encountered my own physical form. Reconnecting with it felt akin to self-encouragement, an internal prodding. Re-entering it, I startled awake in the hospital bed within the recovery room, surprising a pair of nurses who hadn't foreseen my awakening. The doctors, confirming my return, chose nevertheless to escort me back to my family's embrace. I started a strange and confusing journey to master my body coordination. Sedatives made me move like a chopstick, manipulating an intricate mechanism indirectly. My eyes were almost too bright to open, preventing me from doing so. The nurses' voices reached me, but their figures were blurry, making the moment surreal. I tried closing my eyes to relax, but I saw the room and its people more clearly, as if I were on the verge of detachment. With my family eagerly awaiting me in the recovery room, my struggle to control my body while experiencing a partially transcendent sight may have seemed odd. Expressing this feeling is difficult, but I felt it. I had an unexpected chance to communicate, unsure if the memory would last. My late grandmother appeared and asked me to convey a message to my aunt. She begged her daughter to stop mourning and not cry at night. "It's okay. I'm calm." "She wants to see your joy, not your sorrow," she said. An indelible enlightenment occurred when my aunt shared her nightly grieving rituals for her mother. Sending her mother's message brought great comfort. My aunt is convinced I spoke to Grandma in the hospital bed while conscious. My quasi-detachment helped this interaction. Grandma was talking to me, and I saw my other grandmother and others, but I couldn't tell who. Family members recounted my transmission of messages they wanted me to convey about other relatives. Strangely, I had trouble remembering those details, especially about my cousin. No explanation came to mind. Talking to my family and manipulating my body in my hospital bed was exhausting. I occasionally detached myself from my body, giving myself a break. Despite my conscious lapses, my body chattered on autopilot. I could hear my voice, but my body seemed to speak independently, an enigmatic phenomenon that felt oddly logical at the time. Looking back, I struggle to explain this episode, but it's an important part of that moment. From another perspective, I've accepted that all will work out and that pain, sorrow, and life's tribulations are temporary. Our limited perspective obscures the vistas beyond these obstacles. Though difficult to express, this understanding comforts me. These revelations have brought me peace and prepared me for life's challenges by affirming my spirituality. Many don't understand the depth of this assurance that everything will be fine. Even when I struggle with adversity or loss, this encounter resonates and will continue to resonate. My essence holds the certainty that existence will balance. This cognizance's profound metamorphosis is difficult to express. When faced with loss, my grieving process deviates from norms, seemingly without uncertainty. I pledge the eternal presence of those departed, awaiting reunion. This consciousness has permanently shaped my persona, making it more buoyant, sanguine, and refined. Deep ethereal insights are my constant companions, comforting me through life's challenges. For those who relate to this story and want anecdotes that challenge cognition and introspections that delve into the soul, I invite you. Join me on this thrilling journey with a gentle notification. This journey through adventures and pensive reveries continues as we discover new epiphanies and share joy. Toast to existence's ever